Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Cursola. We already had a video earlier on about Cursola in the Open Great League. Today we're going to take a look at Cursola in the Open Ultra League. And yes, I was quite lucky to get two of those boys already on the first day here. Definitely very thankful for this one. Was actually on my last batch there as well, of course, because yeah, you can only open as many gifts. I think I can currently open 50 gifts a day, thanks to the current research that is still available there with the Pokecoin research. But yeah, thanks to this, we were able to showcase both of the Pokemon here today, which is going to be great. As you're gonna see here as well, we're going to have the Annihilate against the opponent's Licky. We're going to have the Annihilate on the team, we're going to have the Cursola on the team, and we're going to have the Tentacruel on the team. And you most likely read the title correctly. Yes, this Pokemon was actually way better than I expected. Honestly, I was thinking if I get maybe like 2 or 3 wins out of like the 13 battles I can do, I actually could do 18 battles with it if I wanted to, but out of like the 13 battles I could have, like that I did here with this team, I was hoping for like maybe 3 or 2 wins. I got 8 wins, and from the battles that I lost, a lot of them were insanely close, where if I had definitely I lost 2 to lag as well of them, like this team was amazing. And I found this hilarious. If you take a look at the stats of Cursola, compared to Cursola, very close to each other, but definitely very different Pokemon. Cursola, very bulky boy. Very bulky boy. Cursola, very squishy boy. Insane tech stat though. And for the Ultra League, this Pokemon was really nice. I have to say, you're gonna see so many battles here today, of course, where this Pokemon was able to sweep, was able to destroy, and it is hilarious. Is it the best Pokemon from this team? No, it is not. I would imagine it's mostly even number 3 on this team, but this team worked out super well. Again, I went 8-5 with this team, but from those losses, there were definitely 2 that I lost due to frame drop, and then 10-3 sounds way better with this team as well, doesn't it? And honestly, Cursola cannot take a hit, but it packs a punch. Like, look at this Pokemon here, look at the Earth Power nearly knocking us out, but we can just knock them out as well. And we have great pacing with this Pokemon, which you're gonna see against Greninja. There's going to be a neutral power gem coming through. Oops, goodbye for over 50% of your health. It is madness. Like, this Pokemon is really cool. And again, I did not expect that this Pokemon would have any play today, but it was actually one of the better Pokemons that I've played this season, and that is kind of hilarious to say about something like Cursola. But the pacing is very nice, the typing is very nice, the coverage is very nice, this Pokemon generally speaking is very nice, and as you saw already in the video earlier on for the Cursola of the Galarian form of the Cursola, in the Great League, this Pokemon is ridiculous as well, of course the pre-evolution. It's not possible currently, I think, to get the this form for the Great League unless you have like a small account to hatch this Pokemon. So you have to have like a level maybe 10 account or something like this to hatch the Galarian form of Cursola, and then maybe trade it over or something like this to get this Pokemon for the Great League, which I don't think anybody is gonna do, because for the Great League it's most likely way worse. But for the Ultra League, this Pokemon was actually a lot of fun, to the point where I want to build one for the Master League. This is definitely something that's going to be a bit of a difficult one to build, but like I feel like this would be a very cool Pokemon. Also, why the hell am I going to encounter an Emboar and Quaquaval in the 3000 plus ELO range there? I have no idea. Like, I literally have no idea like what is going on here, but I guess people just have some fun. And also an Aggron, of course. But yeah, here in this battle, this Pokemon doesn't have to do too much other than 2 fast moves, but we're going to be able to knock out that Aggron here. Tentacruel in the next battle. This is going to be interesting. Let's commentate the battles a little bit more for you to also understand how this team is going to work. This team was again amazing. So, Tentacruel against Tentacruel, what do you want to do? You want to go for your Scald. You want to see who is gonna get this debuff. And I got the debuff, and that means I win the lead matchup. And they go for the Acid Spray, so they also get a debuff. So, what is actually happening now? Do I even want to win the lead matchup? And the answer is now no. We're going to have 2 Pokemon in the back where there are definitely some answers to them in the meta, and so I'd rather keep my lead alive in order to maybe answer those answers later on. While we have a Scald now stored, this might be very nice for us later on. The opponent stops out into the Giratina, which I should have done immediately basically, but they didn't, which is great for me. And this is perfect. We're going to get some damage onto them. We have another Rage Fist coming through, and we could even let the move go through here in order to then farm them down later on with my Cursola. But they decided to go ahead, They decided to go ahead and go for the Dragon Claw, which is not going to be enough to knock us out, allowing us to get the shield from the opponent. And now we swap out into the big boy. Look at that. Look at this big boy. Dragonclaw coming through. Doesn't really matter. We use a shield. We can go for the full farm down. And the opponent is gonna go down. Let's see what is coming in next. Cursola is doing definitely some good stuff here. We're gonna see the opponent swapping out now into the Poliwrath, which you're gonna be able to get the shield from as well, which is great. Nightshade is coming through. This is going to be great here as well. Going to be able to do a ton of damage, and we're gonna use a shield here against the opponent. It is going to be the Icy Wind coming through. They're gonna be able to go into the Tentacruel and knock us out with this one, but Cursola did its job. Did get everything super low, did basically put everything into range where I can just knock them out with a Tentacruel, and this is going to be a good game. And you see already on what kind of potential we have here. There is one big issue for this team. This is the lead of Drifblim, which you're gonna see here as well. If we win this one, shoutouts to myself then, because that's going to be a very difficult one to win, because our lead is horrible. Our say swap is only good if we have energy on the say swap, which, spoiler alert, we don't have if the opponent is the lead. And also, they have a Greninja in the back. Yeah, sorry, I guess it's game over. There's not a lot that we can really do here. Power Jump coming through, doing some solid damage to be fair, but they're still going to be able to go for a knockout here as well. I could use a shield, but it doesn't really help me there. Still have 2 moves out anyway. And it's showtime for Annihilate. We will be able to fully farm them down here. In comes the Drifblim. We have some lag again. Like, honestly, frame drops, we're mad because we also have rain in the game, which doesn't impact the battle, but does impact apparently the game performance. And look at this. Acid Spray. We still get this move off. They don't use a shield yet. That is fine. But now it's a Steel type at -2 defense against a counter user, and will resist every single hit from the opponent from the standard moves at least. They usually run Fighting type and a Rock type coverage, and both of them are going to be resisted, and one is even double resisted from us here. As we see here, Stone Edge, going to be an easy victory. They could run Iron Head as well, but nobody does it basically. Baxcalibur. This is going to be an interesting boy as well. As you're going to see here, we're going to swap out into the Annihilate, and we're just going to get hardwalled at this current point of time. I didn't want to stay in with my lead. I could have stayed in with my lead. Maybe I should have stayed in with my lead. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about all of the plays I'm doing here. We're going to see here that the opponent's going to go ahead and go for the Moonblast. Maybe it would have been better for me to just go straight into my Tentacruel again. I don't know, but I decided to go for close combat. Get the shield from the opponent, which is kind of cool. If I didn't go for the close combat, I maybe would have been better off here as well to get to another Rage Fist. But it is what it is. The opponent going to go ahead and go for the Meteor Mesh. In comes our Tentacruel. We are basically at equal shields, but I'm going to be able to get some nice energy here, which can be beneficial for me later on. Again, we're kind of getting hardwalled so far. We have the Baxcalibur here. I can get the debuff onto them, and I'm just going to try basically to get them low with that one. And we're going to see the shield coming up, and that is kind of nice. Now, I was waiting for them to go for a charge move, but they never did. And so we can swap out. They decided to go for a charge move. Now, it could be an Avalanche, which would most likely one-shot us. It's just a Dragonclaw. Smart play by the opponent. They're going to have their own Tentacruel in the back. And because of the Dragon Breath damage previously, we're actually going to be in Scald range, which is a bit of an annoying thing here as well. As you will see, the opponent is going to be able to just go ahead and go for the Scald, and this is barely the range where they can knock me out with this move. And that's really bad because now I have to rely on my own Tentacruel, which can also go for a Scald here, of course, Shadow Tentacruel. But we just don't have really the energy anymore. That's something that we're going to see here as well. Baxcalibur still has Dragonclaw stored, and with a few HP left, the opponent is going to be able to win the battle. And again, maybe if I play some things a little bit differently, we would maybe had a little bit of a better time there. Next opponent, Weezing, and also Licky. And at this point, just looking at it, because the opponent maybe lagged a little bit in the lead, maybe could have stayed in and just went for an Acid Spray and then sub on to the Annihilate. But yeah, we stayed in for not that long. We're gonna decide to go ahead and go for a Rage Fist here. And you might think that doesn't make sense, but you saw already the matchup against Licky earlier on, and I really like to farm this Pokemon down. And we just basically were missing a little bit of farm down potential in order to really knock this boy out. And at this point, yes, we're going to be one shield down, but we also have an Annihilate with 2 Rages stored by being +1 in damage output still. Now we are at +2 at damage output. And so we are chunking. We are chunking away from the opponent's health. And maybe, yes, we are 1 shield down compared to the opponent. We have the unique opportunity to go for an Acid Spray against whatever they have in the back, and then swap out into our Cursola to go for some Astonish. And this is also the main idea behind this team, by the way, which I mostly said in the beginning of the video. Same as, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. But basically, you kind of want to Acid Spray the opponent and then swap out into one of your heavy hitters. You have Astonish and Counter. 2 fast moves that do a ton of damage, and they also generate energy still kind of decently. And together with the Acid Spray, it's such a very, very strong combination. As you will see here, the opponent's Weezing is not going to have the greatest time here. We can go for the full farm down and win the battle. Next opponent, Venusaur. This is horrible again. Our lead doesn't like this, our Save doesn't like this. Cursola maybe likes it on maybe Sundays or something. I don't know, like he usually doesn't really like it because it's just so squishy that yeah, it usually does have a lot of struggles, I have to say. As you'll see here, for early, I'm gonna decide to go for a charge move, and I decide to just use a shield and overfarm by quite a bit so I can go for Nightshade. Not too sure if the opponent's gonna fall for this bait here or if they're gonna go for a charge move. They go for a charge move, no bait for the opponent there. Well played, as we will see the Hydrocan coming through. We're gonna be forced to go back into the Tentacruel, and they're still forced to go for another charge move, and even an Acid Spray is not going to be enough from this range, forcing me to go for a Scald here. This is not ideal, but we will see here as well that the opponent is gonna swap out into their Venusaur next. We can go for a Scald here. This is gonna be hopefully okay. Shield is coming up from us, it's going to be the Frenzy Plant. It's still gonna be a bit of a tricky one. As we use the shield, I'm expecting that the opponent gonna use the shield here as well, which they do. We're gonna be able to swap out, and they swap out into their Pangoro, panic swapping. They are fighting and Dark type against our fighting and Ghost type, and we just gonna do some super effective damage against them, which is gonna be great. But we also can boost our own attack here by going for the Shadow Punch. And I know I would be able to knock them out with a close combat, but I want to have that attack buff. This is what I'm after, basically. And I decided to go for the next charge move as well. Night Slash is coming through, not knocking me out. I can go for the Dray Twist, and even if this is not going to knock them out, I still have Poison Jab on my other one, where we do neutral damage. I still have counter damage coming up here as well, which is going to be great as well. And as you will see, the opponent goes for another charge move, but we can go for the full farm now with the Tentacruel, and we can move on to the second to last battle for today. This video felt like insanely quick, to be fair. I feel like those battles were definitely very, very fast as well. So yeah, we're going to have Tentacruel against Tentacruel. Same scenario as last time. We will see who gets the debuff. We're going to go for a Scald. They decide to go for a Scald as well. Yeah, they're going to be able to even win the Team Peter against us. We're not going to get any debuff here the entire time, which is quite interesting, which makes it a bit more awkward. But I kind of wanted to keep my Tentacruel around here, especially as I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave. That's kind of interesting. I can swap out into my Annihilate, and they swap out into the Moltres. Like, this is the thing as well. Like, I lost, I think, to 2 meme teams or something here. It just, this is very, very bad for me. Like, especially as the opponent is very good as well with baiting. Like, sure, it's you. Like, I don't, that's the thing as well. If I complain about like those certain matchups where I just kind of get walled and it's not really a nice matchup at all for me, it's never against the opponent. Like, the opponent places here really, really well, I have to say, like literally perfect. Especially with their end game, which is going to be Yveltal. And that is kind of mad. Like, bringing Yveltal here into the Ultra League, I respect this, like, really, really cool. Like, really, really cool here. We're going to see the Acid Spray coming through here as well. This is going to allow us to get the shield from the opponent. And we will try our best to still win the battle, but we have to kind of hope that they're gonna go for a charge move against the Annihilate, thinking that I might be able to get to my own charge move, which I don't. And that's going to be a good game, and we're gonna move on now to the final battle of today's video. Final opponent here, we're going to have Drapion against an Elite. This is going to be a very neutral matchup. We're going to do resisted damage with a fast move on both sides. We do neutral damage with the charge moves on both sides. It could be coming down to like debuffs, as you're gonna see here. If the opponent would have got a crunch debuff, another crunch would knock us out immediately. If you're gonna get the Scald debuff, they will not knock us out at all anymore. And so, as we will see here, we still decide to swap out into our Annihilate. We're gonna be able to take a hit here as well. The opponent swaps out into their Poliwrath, and I just decide to go straight for the hard-hitting move. They have counter, which is double resisted against us anyway. They don't redo a lot of damage. And Close Combat is gonna chunk enough from the opponent that we're gonna be able to now go ahead and use the shield. Because if you think about it, they had free swap there, and they decided to go ahead and go to a Poliwrath out of all things to counter and Annihilate. That is a bit weird, and I don't think that's the correct way either. And so I expect that they're going to be weak against me in the back, and they're going to have in the back the Drapion again, which I'm going to be able to catch the Awkward Tail, I think, at this point, onto our Drapion, which is great. And they're going to have a Driftman in the back, and that is tricky. We're going to use a charge move here. That's going to be okay. That's going to be the Acid Spray coming through, and we're going to get the shield, which is very nice. We still have a shield left. Look at the damage of Astonish. that looks like a charge move to me, not like a fast move, and that is kind of madness. But again, like this Pokemon here, Cursola, don't get me wrong, I don't expect you to build this Pokemon. It is a fun meme Pokemon, but it actually was very solid, and I got a lot of wins with this team. This team was amazing. So yeah, this is going to be the first video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.